Hello and thank you for tuning into today's Saikouisen USA YouTube channel. It's time for the 50th season Saikouisen USA B League. The 50th season Saikouisen USA B League is a 6-session league to determine who will be promoted to the 51st season Saikouisen USA A League. Today, we bring you Table B, Game 1 from Session 2. We hope you will all watch it through the end. I'm Aaron and will be your MC today. Yoroshiku onegaishimasu. Let me introduce today's commentary. Saikouisen USA B Leaguer Nima Pro, thank you for being here with us today.
Yoroshiku onegaishimasu.
First, here's a brief explanation about the Saikouisen USA League structure.
The Saikouisen USA League is a league where all players aim to become the USA Saiko League, the highest title possible within Saikouisen USA. The top 4 players of the Saikouisen USA B League will be promoted to A League, where they will compete to be crowned the first ever USA Saiko League. Saikouisen USA currently hosts the Saikouisen USA B League and C League, where each league will meet up for 6 sessions with a total of 24 Hanchans. The Saikouisen USA League is an independent league from the Saikouisen League in Japan. Winners of the Saikouisen USA League will have seeded seats to main matches for tournaments hosted by Saikouisen in Japan.
And here is the current player ranking. So these scores are from Session 1. In total, again, we have 6 sessions. Do you have any comments to say about this, Nima?
Well, since there's still going to be 20 Hanchan left after these scores, there's not a ton that the players will be considering about their specific standings. So they'll likely just be playing as if it were in a flat situation, I think.
I see, okay. So flat situation being like as if it was basically all equal, right? As if it just started, right?
Yes,
okay.
Yeah, there is just a long time left in the league.
Right, so this is a pretty long one. Got it. Again, today we'll be showing Table B, Session 2, Game 1. And in total, we'll be showing 4 games from this session. Table B will consist of the following players: Nizzou Jo, Shengzhou Qiu, Teiki Kou, and Masahiro Yaehata. Let's go ahead and introduce the 4 players in today's game. Our first player, Nizzou Jo, more commonly known as Rizeng. Nima, what type of player is Rizeng, have you noticed?
I've noticed that Rizeng is a more balanced player, maybe a little bit more on the defensive side. And from what I've seen, I think he likes to keep his hands closed more often.
Okay, let's see if we see that from him today. Well, next we have Shengzhou Qiu, more commonly known as David. So Nima, what do you think David's particular strengths are?
David is definitely more of an offensive player, so his strength would likely be not letting any chance pass him by.
I see. All right, we got some contrast here. And next we have Teiki Kou, which you guys saw last time, more commonly known as Matthew. What's your impression of Matthew Pro?
Matthew is definitely a stronger player, I believe. He has a deeper understanding of the game, as evidenced by his creation of the Matthew method for determining Chinitsu weights.
Yeah, that's something that is definitely unique and fostered here at the Saikouisen USA. And last but not least, we do have Masahiro Yaehata. What do you think about Masa?
Masa, I would say, is also more of a balanced, has more of a balanced play style, maybe a little bit more on the aggressive side, and he definitely has the most experience out of all of the players here at this table.
Sounds good. Well, we got definitely a variety of players. These 4 players will play a total of 4 no time limit Hanchans. Thank you all for waiting, and now let's go ahead and view today's game. The Saikouisen USA B League, Table B, Session 2, Game 1 starts now. All right, and here we are. Game 1 of this Table B game. Starting east, we have Nizzou Jo, also known as Rizeng. Starting south, we have Shengzhou Qiu, also known as David. Here we have double east from Rizeng. And south here is David. Pair of norths, pair of Naimon. Starting west is Matthew, Teiki Kou. And starting north is Yaehata, Masahiro. Oh, we have double Tong Pong from Rizeng. And also a pair of Hatsu here.
Yeah, Rising is on a fast track for a 5,800 point hand.
All right, decides to cut the 6-0 here from David instead of the 9-0. I wonder what that's about, Nima.
Part of the consideration is likely because Rising also cut the 6-0, it looks like, or is that the 9-0?
It's 6-0, yeah.
Yeah. So if enough 6-0 come out, that could create a kabe or a wall that would encourage other players to discard the 7-0, which David is still needing to complete his Dora Penchant.
I see. Yeah, I see there's also potentially a chance to move over to Chanta as well, all the outside tiles.
It looks like Masa has a very strong Ishanten shape here.
Yeah, just finishing that Liaomen there, 6, 7, 8. But Rising here calling 2-mon. Finishing that Kanchan here, discarding the 4-pin from 2-4.
Yeah, he does have an Ishanten shape now that would ideally be brought to Tenpai by calling the Hatsu.
Oh, yeah. All right, Masa, we see the first Richi here of the day, very quick. And Rising also Tenpai for 5-mon and Hatsu. So Masa, he's waiting on 2-5, so there's 6 left in the wall.
Yeah, with an expensive hand, I doubt we will see Rising back down against Masa's Richi.
Yeah, David here also, even though he drew a second Dora, has to play around, discarding the pay there.
Oh, it looks like Rising has grabbed the winning tile for Masa.
Yeah.
He does slide with the 2-0, but still deals in.
That's right. That'll be Reach, Tanyao, Pingfu, Ipeiko for Masa.
And it ends up being 8,000 points. Rising had a very good hand, but it only cost him to deal in the end.
Yeah. As you guys can see here, the players are shuffling the tiles. That's known as shipai. That's something we do here at the Saikouisen before every round starts. And now we're going to be moving to David's dealership. Looks like he has a finished 1-2-3-mon, 1-3-so, and a lone 2-pin. Maybe Sancho here also draws the double tone pair. Matthew starting south here. Or now south here. Masa with a pretty decent looking hand as well. And Rising also pretty good.
He has 2 completed blocks and a Liaomen. The Liaomen does include the Dora as well.
Alright. Matthew sticking the 7-pin to the 6-pin. Making 2 blocks there.
He does have 3 Liaomen now, but one of them does consist of his only pair at the moment.
All right, David sticks to the 8-so.
Yeah, David has the outside chance of looking for a Chanta shape if he can get rid of the 5-pin and maybe get a Liaomen or just a 9-pin above the 7-pin.
Very nice. Masa pairs up his Haku. Decides to cut 8-so there.
Yeah, he's keeping all the lower Sozu together. There is an outside chance that he'll get a lower Sanshoku, although the hand will likely just end up being Haku. Oh, and David does draw that 8-pin, looking for the Chanta.
Yeah, Chanta and upgrading that shape to a Liaomen shape. Masa's 8-mon decides to keep it as it could accept the Dora.
Pairs up the 8-pin, but that does just allow him to call the double tone if he needs to.
Right, using the 8-pin as the pair.
This is not the pair that Matthew wanted to draw.
Yeah, because the 7-mon's the Dora, right? So
yeah,
if he does decide to use that, we'll have to discard it.
He is still Ishanten though, and will likely take any Tenpai he gets from that shape.
Okay, Rising's 5-mon. Decides to keep it and discards 2-so.
Yeah, this 5-mon forms the Liaomen with the lower Monzu sequence, but it also lets him accept another 8-mon to form the pair for his hand.
Yeah, the Liaomen shape, pretty versatile.
Ooh.
Oh, interesting. What do you think about that 1-so cut? Destroying the 1-3-so. What was the consideration there?
It looks like that was just the most efficient
Okay.
choice because there was 1-2-so discarded. But it looks like Matthew did get to Tenpai, giving up the Dora there.
Yeah, so he did end up discarding the Dora, but he did Riichi, now waiting on 2-5-8 pin.
Yeah, he drew the best possible tile for Tenpai there.
Yeah. Oh, Rizeng cutting the 1 pin from within his hand, as it is, Genbutsu against Matthew. So I assume that looks like to other players that he may be folding.
Yes, that is likely the intention behind the Kadagiri there.
Kadagiri meaning even though you drew that tile, instead of discarding it right back, Tsumogiri, you discard from within your hand.
Yes. Ooh, David does get to Ishanten here, although it might be a little bit tough to push depending on how he gets to Tenpai.
Oh, Masa Anko's up the 6-so. Let's see what he decides to do here. Decides to fold with 2-so, looks like.
Masa did get an early lead with that Mangan in East 1, so
right.
he's not in a position where he needs to take a ton of risk at the moment.
Yeah, it looks like David might be able to get back drawing that Yamen there. Let's see if he ends up getting there.
Ooh, this would be a good tile for Rizeng developing his hand, but
he does end up pushing the 7-so, right? 7-so is not particularly safe, yeah.
It is not.
All right.
Yeah, I guess drawing the Formon there and having the potential value upgrade from the Ipeiko made him more willing to push that Ishanten shape.
Interesting. You did mention that Rizeng usually is a more defensive player, so this is a little interesting.
Yeah, that has been my impression of him.
Let's see if he continues. Most efficient would be 2-pin here.
2-pin does deal in.
Yeah, 2-pin is... Oh, okay, decides to discard Formon instead.
Yeah, the Formon having just passed gave him a couple of safe tiles to work with.
Right.
The 7-so has passed. Rizeng did push that tile the previous turn.
Seems like he has a lot of options here, right? Yeah.
6-so.
6-so.
6-so was not safe, but the consideration here may have been that he wanted to push the more dangerous tile first and save a safer tile against Rizeng, who appeared to have been pushing.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah,
okay.
Rizeng might discard the 2-pin here. He does get to Tenpai.
Yeah, he would be waiting on 2-5 mon if he does decide to take it. He does, declares Riichi, but unfortunately deals in to Matthew. That'll be Reach, Tanyao Pinfu.
Yes, that's correct. Would be 3,900 points. 2 consecutive deal-ins from Rizeng. That's gotta hurt.
Yeah. Pretty reasonable though, from what we've seen.
Yes, yeah, he was Tenpai both times.
Now we're going to be moving on to Matthew's dealership. These 3. Dora is 9 mon. Got a 4-5-6 completed. 4-5-6 mon. 1-1 2-pin.
There's an 8 mon the door indicator tile to accept the door as well.
Yeah, and a pair of Haku. Let's see if he calls that Haku. Masa also not looking pretty good here. Got an Anko of 5-so. David looking like an Itsu chance maybe?
Oh yeah, in the Sozu.
Yeah.
Just has to clear out those honor tiles.
That's right. Matthew filling in that 4-6-8 with the 7-so. Masa deciding to cut the 2-pin.
Masa does have 2 Dora in his hand currently, so even though the South and the Chun are each once cut, he's likely holding them for the chance to cash in his Dora quickly if he pairs up any Yakuhai.
Right, both South and the Chun are Yakuhai.
But
oh wow.
Yeah, filling in the penchant is already pretty good.
Yeah, very nice. Yeah, Rizeng follows by cutting the Chun there. Oh, Matthew pairs up the 4, so let's see what he decides to do. Has 3 pairs.
Yeah, this would be Ishanten, and having 3 pairs means that he can call one of the non-Haku pairs and still be Tenpai waiting on the Haku.
Right.
Masa pairs up the non here.
Yeah, non is his Yakuhai. So let's see if he ends up getting it. One has been discarded already, though.
If he does call it, he would have to discard one of the Dora. It is still likely the better play there, just because it does get to Tenpai, and it would be the last non.
Okay, is this 8 so here from Matthew? He decides to Tsumogiri it, but is there any consideration for potentially keeping it in that sense?
It probably doesn't outweigh something like the 2-pin augmenting his 1-pin pair, especially with one of the 1-pin out.
Okay, with the 1-1-2, yeah.
Yeah.
One of the 1-pin has been discarded, that's right. David does finish that block 3-4-5 mon. Oh, okay, Matthew draws the 9 mon, but can't accept it in his hand, has to discard it. That's the Dora.
Yeah, he's just keeping the most efficient shape possible at the moment since he is Ishanten.
Right. Masa did not call it, by the way. Masa could have called either Chi or Pong on the 9 mon Dora. David calling Hatsu there, and now Tenpai for Kanchan, Kanchan Tuso.
Ooh. Matthew does Anko up the Haku. So this is Tenpai,
Yeah,
but
this
which
is
one will he
Tenpai.
choose?
Let's see. Is it gonna? Okay, it's gonna be the 1-pin 4-so Shampon. Wait. Richi Haku.
Yes. Choosing the Shampon is definitely more standard if you're choosing between 2 weaker shapes. There is one 1-pin out, but it still is likely the stronger weight, especially given that the Richi tile is the 3rd 2-pin. So
Yeah,
one more
yeah.
2-pin comes out, maybe someone will discard the 1-pin.
Right. Oh, and also it became Suji as well, right?
It did become Suji as well now with the 4-pin discard
Yeah.
after the Richi. With the 2-pin being the Richi tile itself, though, that can cause the other players to be a little bit more wary of that
makes
area,
sense.
though.
Right, because it's like, oh, why did this person have, or it must have been related to his hand in some way for him to keep it that long, something
Yes.
like that.
Generally, that is the case.
Okay. David here, tripling up his 9-so, could switch to a single tile weight. A Tanki here, decides not to, keeps the Kantu-so.
The 9-so is the safer tile against the Richi, which is,
Oh, and there you go. David wins. Hatsu only. For 1,000. Also gets to take Matthew's 1,000 Yuki stick. As we move on to East 4 now, Masa's dealership. And also, as you can see on the screen here, you can see people's starting points. That was the starting points from session 1, as well as the current game from here, and that's where the total placement is, where they are in the league right now, if the game points were to end like as is. Oh, Dousei pairing up the Tong here, the East Wind.
it is his only pair at the moment, so it is a little tough to call.
Matthew having a lot of Pinzu tiles. Is this close enough to consider going for Honitsu at this point? Or is it a little far?
I think it's a little far to force the Honitsu, but he's likely looking at it because he did discard the pay, which was once cut. It's okay to hedge in those cases, but with the Dora being the 5-so and Matthew having both a 3 and a 7-so, that could make it very easy for him to accept the Dora. It's hard commit.
Well, he does draw another Pinzu here. Let's see what he does now.
This still isn't enough blocks to commit to the Honitsu, in my opinion.
Okay, so maybe you would do one of the... Okay, that's what Matthew does as well, discarding one of the Yakuhais.
An interesting option there would have been to cut the 1-so to keep the floating 3 and 7-so with the hopes of accepting the Dora, or to shift to Honitsu if he draws more Pinzu. That would be a more greedy way of playing that is only looking for high value.
Yeah, Rizeng over there drawing the 4 mon, discarding 1 mon to shift to 2-3-4, potentially looking for 2-3-4 Sanshoku there. Oh, Matthew pairs up 7, so chances of Honitsu probably lower now.
Yeah, they're pretty much gone. And he, by discarding the 2-pin, he's shown that he's no longer looking for the Honitsu.
Okay. Okay, David draws 6 so. Can accept another Dora now with the 5, 6, 6, 7.
Oh, this 8 so is a good upgrade for Matthew, giving him a Yanmen attached to one of his pairs.
Yeah. Masa draws 3-pin, finishing 1, 2, 3, discarding 1. Oh, Rizeng draws 7-pin to attach to 6-pin, gonna be discarding the Penchon now, 8, 9 so.
Yeah, it looks like the tone will almost certainly be the pair for his hand, meaning he will not get Pinfu if he completes the current shape.
Masa pairing up the 5-pin. Very nice, very nice.
He takes the most efficient Ishan-ten shape.
Oh, finishes 2, 3, 4 Sanshoku right in his hand. Is he going to reach it here? Yeah, there he goes.
It is pretty standard to Richi this sort of hand. It is a closed 2-han hand where Richi bumps it up to 3.
Mm-hmm.
That is like a very, that's a very large value increase.
Yeah,
to
from
go
2 to 3.
Yeah, 2 to 3 han.
Yeah, especially with Ipatsu and Ura, right? Could easily become a manga.
And Rizeng is kind of far and forth at the moment. He's 14K behind 3rd place. So it definitely makes sense that he would want to get as many points as he can here.
Yeah, that makes sense. David discarding his Naimon pair against the Richi.
Discarding Naimon is definitely on the more aggressive side. It looks like he's looking for some sort of safe tiles, but he definitely had safer tiles than Naimon, so he's looking to keep his hand shape together.
I see. So trying to balance offense and defense here with the Naimon. If he does finish his hand, would probably get Tanyo.
Yeah, so that was likely a big part of the consideration.
Oh, finishes 4, 5, 6 is Tenpai. Masa decides to Dama.
Yeah, Masa has no Yaku currently, but the weight shape is a little bit too weak to push, which is likely why he chose not to Richi.
I see. So he's waiting on improving the shape by drawing something around what he has currently? Either that or...
Yeah, perhaps improving around the 5-pin, or if he draws a 4-pin, he could get Tanyao.
Also, without Richi, also has the flexibility of deciding to fold if he does decide to fold.
5-mon is Genbutsu, so it's easy to discard that, although he does Kadagiri, as we've seen earlier in this Hanchan, to make it appear as though he's defending.
Yeah, seems like it's the same reason as before. 6-mon.
6-mon is Nakasuji.
Okay.
Relatively easy to discard.
David also discarding 6-mon there, but attaches 7-mon to it. Still has a chance.
This east is a live tile, I believe.
Yeah, there hasn't been any discarded. I mean, it is Rizeng's pair, so Masa did pause a little bit, thinking about whether or not it was dangerous, considering he doesn't see any of them on the board.
It doesn't look like any Pinzu have passed.
Yeah, that's interesting. None of the Pinzus, except 9-pin, of course, have been discarded by Rizeng thus far.
Oh yeah, the 9-pin and the 1-pin just came out.
Yeah.
Oh, this is Tenpai, but it would be Futiten. Matthew has discarded the 1-so earlier.
That's right. Doesn't seem like there's many left. Let's see if he decides to take it.
The alternative is, what would he even discard if he wants to play it safe?
Yeah, as we mentioned before, not many Pinzus have passed.
Yeah, and the Sozu that have passed, it looks like it's been 1-so, 8-so, 9-so. Has there been anything else? The Dora is 5-so. So all the other Sozu in his hand are a little tough to discard.
I guess the main consideration is whether or not he thinks he can sumo his winning tile if he reaches, right?
I don't think he'll be likely to reach in this case.
Okay.
Oh, discards the 8-pin.
And deals into Rizeng. Richi Sanshoku.
Yeah, that'll be 5,200. Yeah, discarding the 8-pin from Matthew there, it's likely because he had no save tiles and wanted to try discarding a tile he had multiple of, so that if it does pass, it gives him multiple turns of safe discards.
I see, that makes sense. Unfortunate end for Matthew there, however, very good for Rizeng. And as we move into South 1, dealership comes back around to Rizeng. Dora is Haku. Rizeng has one of them.
Uncle's up to 5 mon.
Well, David has one Dora as well. Also has a bunch of Yakuhai, potentially, if he throws any of them up. Masa's hand looks pretty good.
Yeah, Masa has probably the best shape, followed by Matthew at the moment. With this sort of hand from Rizeng, looking for Honitsu, I think, is on the menu.
Interesting.
Yeah, the Monzu shape is pretty wide, and the shapes in the other suits are not very good. Especially since he's stuck with one Dora at the moment. Going to Honitsu gives him a way to use up that Dora, even if he only ends up having one in his hand the entire time, because he could just end up waiting on it for a pair at the end.
Waiting on the Dora Tanki?
Yes.
Honitsu Dora Tanki, okay.
Conversely, though, if you see a player going for a Honitsu-looking hand when there is Yakuhai Dora, that likely means that they don't have a pair of it, because they would just go straight for the fastest hand they could get to try and cash out a Mongang.
Oh, I see. That makes sense. Yeah. That's a good point.
It might affect how the players approach this Kyoku. Although it looks like no one is going for any sort of Honitsu or Chanta type hand.
Well, speaking of Yaku, Masa does have an Itsu chance in his hand.
Yeah, he is holding onto that 9-so to
Right.
go with the rest of the Sozu.
Right, to see if he can make that into a potential Itsu. Let's see. Matthew discards 3-pin.
3-pin does augment the lower Pinzu shape, both forming a Kanchan with a pair of 1-pin and a pair with the other 3-pin, but that is kind of one of his strong shapes at the moment, and he likely doesn't want to spend extra space in his hand augmenting that shape. It's needed elsewhere.
Oh, well.
Misses the 3-pin here, though.
That's can't be helped.
Yeah, discarding 3-pin only really misses the 3-pin.
Rizeng here, discarding 1 mon. I think that loses the least without having to give up the Dora.
Yeah, it doesn't lose anything really at the moment anyway.
Oh, David decides to cut Dora here.
Yeah, David has 6 blocks, but decides there's no space in his hand left for the Dora.
Oh, Masa sticking the 6-pin to the 5-pin.
Yeah, that gives him Pinfu Tenpai. Waiting on 4-7-pin. 4-7-pin might come out from Rizeng.
It might come out. Those two are standing alone. Decides to follow, cutting Haku.
Masa's decision to Dama here is a little bit interesting.
Yeah.
Having seen a Dora come out from David first, it likely gives him a little bit of a hesitation. Normally when a player discards a Dora Yakuhai like that, or a Dora in general, I should say, it means that their hand is close to completion. So being able to snipe these quick wins off of the other players with this Dama Pinfu puts him in a little bit of a safer position, especially since Masa was first place going into that Kyoku.
I see multiple considerations for why Masa would download that. Does end up winning that piece for 1,000.
Yeah, wins it off of Rising. He couldn't hold on to both the 4 and the 17 there.
Now moving to South 2, with David being dealer. Dora is Haku yet again.
No Dora here this time.
Also, Matthew doesn't have any Dora, but does have 3 blocks in the Sozu.
Yeah, it looks like a very good Tanpin shape.
Oh, Ipeiko completed for Masa here, and 1 Dora. Looking pretty good.
He might go for Honitsu this time.
Interesting, yeah. It's possible. Rising starting out with 2 Chuns and 2 Peis. He is Pei.
Chun is the Dora indicator, so if Rising wants it, he'll have to call the only one that will be discarded. Rising 6 blocks here.
Yeah, decides to cut the 6-0 to keep all his tiles together.
We call the pay. He does.
Okay, so he is calling the pay. Seems like you can see all the way to the end that these are his final blocks. Decides to cut 7 mon.
Well, I think there is still the option to move to Honitsu here. Yeah, he chose to cut the Manzu Kanchan because that was just the weakest shape in his hand.
Right.
But if he draws more Pinzu along the way, he could definitely switch over to a Pinzu Honitsu.
Okay.
With 2 pairs of Yakuhai that could reach Mangan.
Oh, Matthew finishes his Ipeiko. 2, 3, 4 so here.
Masa opting to keep the 6-0 despite having discarded the 8-0 earlier.
Yeah, the 8-0 and 9-0 discard earlier.
He's likely keeping the 6-0 just so he can catch tiles around it, and maybe he also decided to give up on any potential Honitsu. The 6-0 will also be safe to discard against Rising later because Rising has discarded that.
Right.
Not much movement from the other players' hands.
Yeah, I was about to say. Seems like everyone's just drawing and discarding so far recently. Oh, Masa decides to cut 6-0 now, keeping Tone probably as a safe tile, I assume?
Relatively safer tile, yes.
Okay. Oh, Khan's here. Khan's the pay. New Dora is 3-0. Oh, and draws 5 pin, completing his 6-7. Moving 1 step forward. David also moving 1 step forward. Matthew moving 1 step forward. Everyone's moving 1 step forward now.
And Matthew is Ishanten there.
Masa pairing up his 6-mon. Has a pair now.
This is the new Dora. Does Rising want to keep it?
Yeah, if he does stick something next to it, he could use it, but he has discarded a lot of tiles around it.
Yeah, unless he specifically sticks 2 or 5-0 to it, or pairs it up, of course, then it would likely to make his final shape with E10. The 3-0 being the new Condora does add 2 Dora to Matthew's hand, so he's definitely going to want to be pushing that one. Ooh, does Rising take the shape improvement here? He would have to give up the Dora.
Yeah, can you explain a little bit how the shape might improve here?
Keeping the 9-pin here, it forms a Kanchan with a 7-pin. It's like an extended shape that's augmenting the pair of 4-pin in this case. So it allows him to accept the 8-pin for Tenpai as well.
I see, so it adds the 8-pin acceptance.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, Masa getting 4-mon to attach. Rising calling the Chun, going to be Tenpai now. Waiting on 3 6-mon. He does have Pei and Chun, Pei with being Khan, of course. I assume other players will be wary of Rising now.
They were probably wary of him from the point where he called the Khan, but even more so now.
Yeah, that makes sense. Oh, okay, Matthew gets to Tempai. Decides to Dama, Con 3-mon. Happens to be the same weight.
This is,
Oh, and Rizeng's going to be winning. Unfortunately, head bumping. We do play with head bump here in Saikouisen. There are no double wrongs.
I think this is a little bit more fortunate for Masa, at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rizeng's hand was the cheaper of the two compared to Matthew's. Matthew did have Tempai for Ipeiko Dora 2,
Right.
whereas Rizeng's hand was just Chun and Pei. The Fu does go over because of the con, so it was 2,600 points, I believe.
Yeah. Well, Masa will never know that he got saved.
Until he watches this video, right?
Yeah, that's right. Moving on to South 3 here. Matthew, dealer now. Wow.
Wow, that is a wow.
That is a wow. We got a pair of Wonso and a Samnenchan, 3-sided weight.
This also has a 789 Sanshoku potential.
Yeah, it does. Masa's hand looking pretty decent as well.
Yeah, the shape is quite good.
Yeah.
Can accept the Dora 3-mon as well. Ooh, David's hand shape is quite good as well.
Yeah, it looks like everyone's hand is pretty decent.
We're likely going to see some action in this hand.
Yeah, people are like trying to balance whether or not they want to move forward and fight.
Rizeng might be the furthest behind, but the hand is still not bad.
He does have one Dora in his hand. David, very nice 6-0 attaching to the 5-0, making a Yamen.
Matthew just accepting the shape improvement, giving up on the 1-mon. He was likely keeping the 1 and 5-mon earlier, just to be able to more easily accept the Dora. Ooh.
Oh, is there a 6-7-8 potential? 6-7-8 Sanshoku here?
There is.
Okay.
He'll likely keep them both around as long as he can, but he might have to make a decision on the next improvement.
Okay. Oh, filling in the 7, 8, 9. Very nice by Rizeng.
Yeah, there's a 789 Sanshoku chance there.
Again, all players pretty good. Oh, David decides to call pawn on 8 pins, takes Tempai, cutting the Dora, waiting on 4-7-0.
This does give up quite a bit of value. It leaves a lot of value on the table. But being able to call for Tempai this early is pretty strong in and of itself.
Oh, okay. He does Anko up the 2-mon, but decides to keep the current shape, 4-7-0.
Yeah, the options were to cut the 5-0 and wait on 3-6-0 instead, or cut the 6-0 and wait on 2-5-0 instead. Keeping the triplet of the 2-mon would be a little bit more flexible because you could change the shape one more time later. But the Dianmin does just have more winning tiles at the moment.
Yeah, he does have 4 tiles left in the wall. Of course, he doesn't know that.
Masa improving his Ishanten here, potentially adding Ipeiko to his hand.
Right, Rizeng finishing his Diankan there. Discards the 9 pin. It is safer. He does see 3 of the 8 pins called by David.
Yeah, that's not the side he wanted to complete, but it is progress nonetheless.
Matthew's probably thinking, will this 4-mon pass, right?
Yeah, his hand is still 6 blocks, still the Anshanten. He might have to switch to defending soon. Ooh, the 4-mon did just pass.
Yeah, could Masa switch to 5-6-7 Sanshoku here?
He could.
Slide over, yeah.
However, discarding the 4-mon means that he would be giving up on the Dora 3-mon completely.
Okay.
And he likely valued the upgrade from the Dora over the very slim chance of getting Sanshoku.
I see, okay. Interesting considerations here. Things everyone should think about.
Very natural 9-pin discard from Matthew. It had just passed, and it's easier to consolidate the shape down to 6-6-8 if he needs to discard another 9-pin.
continuing to cut that block that he had with 8-9 so.
Ooh.
3-mon is the Dora. It's also not safe against David.
Well, it's safe against David, yeah.
Excuse me.
But it is getting pretty late in the Kyoku. So he'll have to be wary of that regardless.
Right.
Yeah, it's hard to cut the Dora on turn 12 from the Enchanten hand.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yusing draws 9-mon here. Wonder what he's thinking about.
Neither have passed. He's probably just deciding which one is safer. Against David's call, it looks more like it could just be Tanyao.
Right.
So 9-mon would be easier to discard.
Okay, so he was considering whether or not it was Tanyao?
It's probably just doing his due diligence.
Okay.
Yeah, not being too hasty.
Matthew.
There are some cases where the outside tile is more dangerous.
Masa oncoing up the Hatsu there.
That greatly increases his acceptance, and he can now also call for Tenpai if he needs to.
And Matthew, last turn, drew 2-so. Could potentially be looking at Itsu? Not sure.
It's more likely that he's just playing defensively, I think.
Okay.
It's a little bit too difficult to be pushing this hand.
Yeah, but if he does end up getting to Tenpai, then he might consider pushing.
Yeah, Tenpai is a different story.
Yeah, he did move forward with drawing that 9-mon. Using also, does he want to take Tenpai by discarding 6-so? Does decide to Riichi.
It makes sense. Even though the gap is smaller now, he is still in last place.
And now Matthew, with another person fighting on the field, not Tenpai. Probably deciding to fold here.
The 1-pin was no chance because you could see all of the 2-pin discarded. So it was relatively easy to discard. But I don't suspect we'll see Matthew pushing too much more after this point.
Yeah, Masa also deciding to fold here.
Yeah, in this late stage of the game, it's very difficult to push if you're not Tenpai, because the chance of catching up and then winning your hand is just so small.
Looks like David continuing to push here. Although 7-pin is Suji. Not sure if others are picking up on the fact that he's also Tenpai and moving forward.
I mean, they were likely wary of David from the point where he called and discarded the Dora.
That's right.
It's hard to know if he's Tenpai at that point, but without changing his hand at any point after that, it's a little bit easier in the late game to assume that he's Tenpai, and he does win the hand. Rizing picks up the 7-so after Riichi and deals in.
That's right, and that will be Tanya only also picking up Rizing's Riichi stick. 2,000 points in total. And now we're going to be heading on to all last, South 4. Masa is the dealer. Dora's 5-mon. Starting out with an Anko of 7-mon, also with the 8-mon attached to it. And creates another block with the 7-so draw. Rizing, pair of Pei. Sanmen-chan again in the Pinzu.
And 1 Dora as part of the on-man.
Yeah.
It's a pretty strong shape.
David here, with a pair of Chun Yakuhai, he is 2,400 points away from first. And the Uma here, the placement bonus, is 30-10, and so that will be 20,000 points, equivalent between each placement. So that's a pretty big consideration to think about. Moving up placement is pretty important here.
Yeah, it's pretty unlikely that David will win a hand that doesn't improve his placement in this specific Kyoku. Also, as a reminder, there is no Agadiame, so even if Masa wins this hand, he will have to continue his dealership.
Right, also goes for Tenpai as well.
Matthew has a pretty rough hand.
Yeah, he does have one Dora, but we'll see how he plays this. Looking pretty slow here.
He might be okay just not dropping to 4th place with a hand like that.
Yeah, keeping 3rd probably be his best case scenario, at least what it looks like right now.
Rizeng does definitely have a hand that can get him up to 3rd, though.
Yeah, if he finishes that Ippei Kou.
David pairs up a second Yakuhai, the non there. Will he call this?
He does call it. So non-chun would be 2,000. If he gets a Dora, that would be enough for him to get to 1st, right?
And the rest of his hand is already Honitsu.
Okay, so Honitsu as well, yeah.
Yeah, even if he does not get the other Yakuhai, it looks like he'll have enough value to get 1st if he can complete his hand.
Okay, moving forward with the Honitsu, pair of 6-mon, pair of 9-mon, pair of chun, can call any of those. Masa's hand with 4 pairs, one of them being an Anko. Matthew discards the chun. David will call that. David will be Tenpai for 6-9-mon. And that will get him to 1st if he does win. That would be a Mangan hand.
Yeah, and Matthew has to be wary here because with that much value showing, it's very possible that if he deals in, he'll drop to 4th.
Yeah, that's definitely something you don't want to do, dropping to 4th, especially if you're not anywhere near being close to finishing your hand.
Masa also might have to play a little bit more defensively here.
Yeah, is that why he cut the 9-so there?
Very likely. Yeah, it's hard to discard the Dora into those calls. Oh, he does call the 2-so.
Okay, okay. Interesting. Looking for Tanyao perhaps, trying to diffuse the situation by winning himself.
Yeah, calling the 2-so makes it a little bit easier for him to also call the 3-so. He's probably hoping to end up on a shape that can accept the 5 and 6-mon, since he has the 5-mon next to the 7-mon Anko.
Now Rizeng, he does want to try to move up, but I guess Masa calling indicates that maybe he'll have another round if Masa ends up winning.
That is very possible. If Rizeng doesn't think he has a good chance of winning, he can leave it up to the dealer to try and Renchan.
Decides to Karagiri, the 6-pin there, which is safe against David.
Yeah, Matthew is just playing it safe,
Right.
not taking any risk. Oh, 7-pin's a very good draw here.
It is finishing his Ippei Kou. Does he decide to Richi? Okay, he does. Decides to Richi, waiting on 4 7-mon. Richi Ippei Kou.
The Richi decision's a little interesting here. Because he did have enough to overtake Matthew if he damad, because it was Pinfu, Ippei Kou, Dora 1. However, by declaring Richi here, if David, who has already called twice, ends up dealing in, he can go up multiple placements.
Very nice, and that's the end of that.
Yeah, David does deal in with the 4-mon.
And there are the standings. Masa ending 1st, 36,400 points. Rizeng ending 2nd at plus 10.9. Matthew at minus 13.3. And finally, David at minus 34. And so on your screen right now, you can see that with Game 1 standings, these are the points added on, of course, to their first session. And the totals are as follows. Well, that'll be it for the first game of this session. Stay tuned for the second game, which we'll also be commentating. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe so you don't miss the second one. This has been Aaron.
And I've been Nima.
And we'll see see you in the next one. Thank you for watching.
Thank you for watching.